How are you getting on? Are you well? What have you been up to? You can talk to me. You can talk back to me. You just say it out loud right now. What have you been up to? Have you been doing nothing? Or have you been doing fuck all? Oh, who's this? This is the fuck all chicken. He's about. I mean, what do you? Hey, what have you been up to? Fuck all! Fuck all! Okay, Jesus Christ. Chickens are horrible. I don't mind eating them. I do not mind eating them. Apparently, chickens eat each other. And birds as well. Birds eat chicken. Birds eat everything. That's why you can't eat seagulls, because they eat meat. Anyway, what have you been up to? Have you been up to fuck all? Or have you been up to anything good? What have you been enjoying? Have you been enjoying anything? Is there anything you've been privately enjoying? And I'm not meaning that in a creepy way, you know? Have you been maybe getting into looking up fire pits, how to make a fire pit on YouTube? Is that something you're looking at the moment? Would you bring that up if someone asked you what you've been up to? What would be the hierarchy of things you would bring up with? It'd be like job, fine, right? It seems like people don't ever, go through all the shit that's fine, but they don't talk about the thing that they're actually genuinely interested in, you know? Like, I want to get voice notes from my mates saying, this is the mad thing I've been looking up recently, do you know? Don't tell me about the job. Job's always fine. Family's normally fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the hierarchy of the things that people talk about? Oh, how are you doing? Yeah, good. What have you been up to? Nothing much. Same old, same everything. Same everything. Yeah, same old everything. How's fam? Good. Yeah, fine. Yeah, job. Fine. Whatever. Okay, great. This has been a shite conversation. So what if you're like, hey, what have you been up to? Well, funnily enough, I've been trying to get a new fake Mercedes emblem to put on the front of my Punto, and I can't find any online on AliExpress. I've been trying to buy fake Adidas joggers online, or I've been on ASOS, and for whatever reason I can't seem to find a black a simple designed black bucket hat. Just tell me the shit. This is not mundane. This is what's interesting that's different from the other shit. Or I've been Googling about how to do a fire pit. I've been obsessed with TikTok at the moment, and I'm really enjoying these dances, and here's one that I learned for you. We're all doing it. We all have this secret life that we're living in our individual internet searches that we're just not telling anyone about. We're nothing to be embarrassed about, It's not like you're like, well, I'm actually getting really into step-sibling stuff at the moment. They don't get into that shit. Don't tell me that, right? Everyone's getting into that. No, don't tell me about that shit, right? It's not even that it's a step-sibling, right? It's the fact that it's on your doorstep. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. That's what I think the kink is. I think the step-sibling, and it's step-sibling. It's not half-sibling. Do you know what I mean? People don't, it's not like it's not like the same dad. Do you know what I mean? I'm not into it. I'm not into it either. I'm not into it. But it does come up in my it just is. It's prevalent. It's prevalent. The step sibling thing. I think it's the convenience thing. That's like the delivery man with his dick in the pizza thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hi, I'm the real estate agent. It's the convenience. Men are cis straight white men. Well, I don't know. Men are into convenience. Men are into, look, this is a sex podcast. This is a sex advice podcast. And I'm basing this on absolutely fuck all. Oh, here's the chicken again. The cock, as we can say, because we're getting a bit blue here. We're getting it. That's what I'm going to do now whenever I start getting any blue territory. I'm going to play Eiffel 65. I have a blue house with a blue window. All right, this is the blue corner. Here we go. Men, okay, as a sexpert, as you know, I'm a famous sexpert. As you know, I drive around in a car that has Lick Out Master pasted across the front of it. Of course, most of the plates blew away, so only the L plate remains, but at one stage did say Lick Out Master as I was speeding through. I shouldn't say where I live. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to bleep that out. So as a lick out master and a sexpert, I believe that a lot of the trends, this is my hot take. Is that my blind boy? This is my hot Mr. Bond. Blind boy could be a good Bond villain, with the mask and everything. You'd hear him coming though. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. You'd be like, and then you'd have Daniel Craig turn around. Be creeping up on you. What am I fucking talking about? My peer Blind Boy. He's in a, I do really like Blind Boy, and he's actually been very good. He's given me some very good advice offline. Is this Tony's name drop corner? Is this Tony's name drop corner of Enchanted Blind Boy? Okay. Is it Louis Walsh or Bono he the horn for? Let's find out in Tony's name drop corner. Here we go. You can't. Yeah, he gave me some good advice about a touring thing, but the guy who... is it Louis Walsh or Bono he the horn for? Turns out it was Blind Boy giving tour info. Anyway, what am I saying? I think straight men, some straight men, are into convenience in the same way that it's just like food delivered, sex delivered, and the step sibling thing is part of that. It's just the convenience of it being... I felt like I was going to lead into... What else can I talk about that? I think it's a convenience thing. Similarly to how, like, I think... Would more men prefer, ride in the morning, or would they prefer the evening, I think it's either or. I've actually heard of either or from people, I'm a morning guy. Hey, I'm a morning guy, right? I just like to, any excuse to procrastinate by staying in bed, really, Come on, we have, I'm not fucking getting to, let's get out of this blue corner. But what have you been up to? Are you telling people about your interests? Tell people about your interests. People want to know, and I'm here. I want to know about your interests, about your personal interests. Here's an invention I came up with there. The way we're getting all into face coverings, face masks, right? And how it's obviously fantastic that it's not a politicized thing here. It's just like, okay, no, I get it. Wear a face mask, You are less likely to transfer your asymptomatic cases if you wear a mask. That's the whole thing. And it's great. Highly recommend wearing a mask. It's great. It's great fun. I highly recommend doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's just for the sake of everyone, just for a little while. But I like the fact that in Asian culture, wearing a mask is kind of, I'm feeling a bit poorly. I don't want to pass it on to you. I'm a great guy. I'm a nice guy. That's why I'm wearing a mask. Oh, that's cool. So it isn't more so like I'm afraid of you. And that's, some people kind of see the face mask and they're like, oh, they're being fucking standoffish. They think, well, I'm infected. And that's not what it is. It's about you being sound because you might have something that you might not have. But since the face mask has become accepted, right? I came up with this invention years ago, right? And I thought it's not the right time. It was kind of like my avatar, like my fellow content creator James Cameron, when he was making Avatar, one of the best films. Can you believe Avatar is delayed to 2021? You want to talk about fucking Pandora disease, about fucking that disease all the fucking weirdos had when they were all sad about how they couldn't live in Pandora anymore. Well, now it's been pushed back to 2021. I can't believe it was going to be. That was going to save the year, was Avatar coming out this year. It was going to save the year. And why did they even need to delay it? Like, they're shooting it underwater. They're shooting it in a fake underwater. Anyway, we'll get into that. Well, we won't get into that. I'm not talking about that today. But anyway, Avatar's been pushed back. But similarly to James Cameron making Avatar, he was like, I have the idea, but the technology and the people are not ready. And then he waited, and he saw Gollum, Andy Serkis's performance as Gollum, and he was like, it's time. Right? He did the fucking, it is time. Right? You can't be doing impressions of Rafiki. Who's this? Is this fucking PC Gary? Police Constable Gary? You shouldn't be doing impressions of Rafiki. You can do the rest of them. But you can't do it, Shouldn't even be doing impressions of Darth Vader, really. Well, you can. I don't know. Where's the line? Anyway, where's the lion? Bloody Mufasa in the bloody sky. What am I talking about? My invention, right? My invention is thusly. It is now at a time where people are accepting masks. I am a singing boy. I've always been a singing boy. As you know, one of my alter egos on the podcast is Colin Wilkinson, the Phantom of the Opera, and Jean Valjean. And I have always had a song in my heart, and I always want to sing. If you ever see, if I ever have 4 pints on a weekday, you know, and it's you know, you're going home at like 10, and it's so out of place for you to be kind of that drunk on a weekday. It's a bit out of place, so it's a bit wild. I'll often be, you know, maybe cycling home drunk. You know, hopefully not. You know, I have a child now. You know, I can't be making those kind of taking those risks. But I'll be walking home and I'll fucking start singing. I'll just start fucking singing with my headphones on. And I know that might piss people off, and it's, you know, it's obnoxious. But I have a song in my heart. So this invention is on the same vein as noise-cancelling headphones. As you know, famously, you can swap the wires in your headphones to turn them into a microphone. I want to do a noise-cancelling mask so that when I'm on the bus and I'm listening to, you know, Leanne Rimes, for example, you know, how do I go on if you ever leave? Baby, you would take away everything. You know, and like but you won't hear that. You just be like, how do I leave? Because it's not completely noise cancelling. And I also wouldn't mind some people knowing that I'm singing. And also, with so I'd be there with the mask and I'd be screaming, like my face would be red. My eyes would be getting bloodshot. You see my head kind of shaking. But when you look at me, I just look like I'm wearing a face mask. And I look like I'm about to explode because I really, you know, a set of pipes on me, you know. You can get fucking Mario in here because I'm fucking this tenuous joke there. So I'm going to go into the Dragons. I'm going to go into the Dragons and say, tell you what, the noise cancelling mask, Karaoke King Kong edition. Karaoke King Kongs is what it is because it's for big loud sounds that you can deliver under the mask. That's the branding. I've just thought of that right now, right? It's got a cool picture of an ape on it, right? It's really cool branding. Karaoke King Kongs, right? And it's a face mask noise cancelling thing, right? And it's expensive. It's 400 quid. But it means that you can go out, you can practice, you know, or you can even do whatever you want. You could record a podcast, you know. You could be walking around. You could be on a phone call. The noise cancelling and fucking... I am obviously not going to follow through with this. You know I'm not going to follow through with this, right? I got too many pies. To be following through with this pie, you know? So I know someone's going to end up stealing this idea, but let the patent... How do you patent this? Can you just write a letter to yourself being like noise cancelling mouth cover and then post it to yourself? Is that how you patent things? People say that's how you can patent things. What am I talking about? So yeah, that's my new invention. So you know, make it so I can buy it, but at least let me have a free one, right? They're called King Kong Karaoke King Kongs. Right. Well, that fucking idea is driven into the fucking ground. What are we doing today? Look, we're having an old school. As in, I don't have any notes podcast. Well, I do have notes. And actually, I do have something planned. I have another edition of The Fridget. The WB's favourite teen drama, The Fridget, returns to the airwaves in the conclusion of the Young Scientist Competition arc. If you haven't heard that, I'll incorporate it previously on The Fridget. Maybe later on. I don't know if I will. Kunmah we're going to have... I'm going to give you a recap of my staycache. How I went to a caravan with my wife and kid and did fuck all. Oh, the chicken's back. So that's on the pod. It's all kicking off today on the Tony Cantwell Shit Show. It's Tony Cantwell Shit Show. Lovely stuff there. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Tony Cantwell Shit Show. Did you know 2 things? One, my name is not actually Tony. Did you know that? Do you know that's a nickname? Did you know that shit about me? When you're having the Tony Cantwell table quiz, incorporate the question, what is Tony Cantwell's real name? Because it's not Tony. That's a nickname. My name's Anthony. Yo, it's me, Anthony. When I went off, my dad's also called Tony, so when I went to London, I decided I was going to go by a different name. I decided I was going to try and carve out my own path, not live in the shadow of the old man. And I realized how I hate being called Anthony. Worked in a call center and be like, Anthony, please. Anthony, do a better job. I'm like, oh, I don't like that at all. I'm like, you can call me Tony. You can call me Tony. No. So that's not my... And I often come on this podcast and I complain about the fact that I don't have a nickname. That I've always, for my entire life, tried to force a nickname without realizing, hey, the nickname was with you all along. You know, you didn't need to go to America and get a big boner patch, iron-on patch, the size of your chest, and iron it onto your T-shirt. I've said this on the podcast before. This is where the idea of Boner, the character from TV's The Fridget, came from, where it was a big, massive patch with a bone on it, and written in the middle of the bone, it said Boner. And I kind of thought, well, I'll get that patch. I'll wear it on my chest. And then everyone will have to call me Boner, like T-Bone. Boner, right? And it'll be totally forced, but I'll be that kind of guy. I suppose my main objective, my peak objective was to be like the Shermanator from American Pie. I think I had set the bar so low where I was like, I'm just going to be the friend of the friend who, because he's at least in the film, still gets to get the ride with, you know, some hot bird, right? By some mistake or something like that, you know, by some weird mistake, you know. Which, if you look at things now, there should be no mistakes, you know. If it's a mistake, it's not consent. You know what I mean? If it's a fucking mistake, it's not consent. If it's in a movie and someone ends up fucking someone else by mistake, and that's a serious issue, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna be Boner. Like Boner, you know, I was just like, I'll set my sights on being the fucking creep. I will set my, anyway, luckily it didn't stick. But yeah, that was, and we actually we made a fake, I used to think American Pie was a really funny film, you know, it had it all, you know. It was just at the right time. American Pie was at the right time. It couldn't have aged. It aged almost as bad as Porky's, which was another film that I loved that my brother had on video. You know, you can't be staring at birds. You just can't be staring at birds through a peephole. You can't do that, right? It's just not cool. Can't be staring at anyone. You know. Anyway, but anyway, what was I saying? I had a nickname, Boner. Yeah, we made this. I used to make a lot of movies in my preteens, and one movie that me and my mates made was a kind of parody of American Pie called Hanging Up Campus, right? All of these movies are completely disappeared. I haven't archived anything from my beautiful, hot, creative, hot-bodied youth. I used to have a fucking V. I used to have a fucking V and abs, and I was carrying myself like I was a fucking freak show. I was carrying myself like I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone, but it's just I want to just take my young self, my young hot-bodied self, and just be like, you're so fucking hot. You've lovely hair and lovely luscious lips and a fucking tight bod. Why aren't you just... It's not even like you need to walk like you act like that, but like, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? What are you seeing? You know? I don't even know. Anyway, so we made a movie. I didn't archive any of this. I wish I archived more. I wish I archived all my old drawings, all my old weird comics that I did, all the movies and stuff that we made. But anyway, one of them was Hanging Up Campus, which was a movie based off a small sketch, which was like, if we were to do an American Pie, and the whole set piece of the American Pie where he fucks the pie. The whole thing is Jason Biggs' character has not ever gotten to third base, which is blowies, right? He's never gotten there. So his mates are like, it's like warm apple pie is what it feels like. And then he's like, all right. So he finds a pie. His Maz makes a pie. And he decides to fuck the pie, which, was groundbreaking. It was the Gollum of teen sex comedies, all right? It was like, the world is now ready to see a man. You will believe a man can fuck a pie, right? And he did, you know. And look, I can't throw stones. Famously, I fucked a moist towel one time, you know. But we were like, right, what can we do? How can we do kind of like a fake teen sex comedy, you know? And this is what we were watching these. And I was like, what we should do is we should do a bit where a guy fucks his shit. Where, like, you know, a guy is... So my character, because obviously I was gonna do the fucking, you know. So it was a bit where I still wouldn't take my pants off, so I was wearing boxers. But the whole thing is like so it was a bit where like I walk into my mate's gaff and there's like a dog shit on the floor. There's Nutella on a bit of paper because we weren't allowed to get on the counter because it was a mass gaff, right? We weren't allowed to get Nutella on the counter. So it was Nutella on a bit of paper on the counter, and the whole thing is that the dog has jumped up on the... And so I walk in, my character, and who may actually have been called Boner even then, walk in and see this shit. And then at first I'm like, ugh. And then like this music starts playing like, wow, wow. And I start like touching it with my fingers. And then it cuts to kind of like shot for shot. And then my mate walks in and he's like, dude. And then I could turn around and it's me humping the shit, which I still think is so funny. I am so funny. I still think that's so funny, because there is no, you know. I just want to fucking, in terms of accelerated bits, I want to just throw a fucking nuke on it. Do you know what I mean? Just throw a fucking nuke on it. Sometimes that is funny. So oftentimes in improv, you come in with the bit that's so accelerated, so above the top that it's like, well, where do we go from here? You know, but I felt like at the time, American Pie, it's like, he should hump a shit, you know, because he wouldn't find that attractive. And what they put poor Jason Biggs through, he super glued his dick to his hand. There was other bits. I'm sure there was like, I'm surprised they never went down to like the Trading Places or Ace Ventura When Nature Calls route of him riding a gorilla. Do you know what I mean? It was only short of that, you know, how times have changed. So yeah, that's one thing you didn't know. I think that's how I started this conversation. And the second thing is I'm changing the name of the podcast. I'm changing the name of the podcast, right? I'm changing the name. Look, you're not going to talk me. I don't know. I might change the name of the podcast. I'm kind of thinking, right? Obviously you are my fabulous weekly listeners. We have a wonderful community here. We have a great community here. I got people listening to the podcast come over to me with tears in their eyes saying they love the podcast. We got a lovely community here, okay. But I feel like the bloody nanny state, right? I feel like we can all handle swear words, okay? We can handle swear words, okay? The fact this is called Shit Show, you know, Mark Maron's got a podcast called What the Fuck, although he changed that to WTF, you know, because I think there are algorithms here that are kind of prohibiting who can see what. And when I post about things that say shit, it is going to disappear in the algorithms, right? That's just a nanny state, right? And it's not that people can't handle a swear word. People can handle swear words. People can handle me being a bit blue, abba-dee, babba-die. You know what I mean? Remember my mate thought that this song that was, I'm blue, if I was green, I would die. If I was green, I would die. I'm blue, if I was green, I would die. But yeah, I believe that there are probably, people can handle their swears, okay? But I think that there are algorithms at play that will diminish the reach of this podcast and the marketability of the podcast with shit so closely in the title. So we're going to be doing a bit of a rebrand over the next couple of weeks. It won't be so dissimilar. It'll be more or less... I already have something in mind. I just don't want to spoil it now because you know me, you know the pageantry. I need to make this like it's the fucking Champions League. Da, 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 when I present the new name of my podcast because I'm a fucking egomaniac who has to have, you know, hey, look at this. Look at this minor difference. Hey, look at me, you know. But anyway, so that's two things. You didn't know my name was actually Tony. Anthony, and I'm changing the name of the podcast in maybe a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna do a little rebrand now. So I'm just back from my staycache, myself, Terry, and the little guy. Spent a week in British Bay, not even an hour from the gaff. You know, we did it all by the book. You know, and you know what I realized? I could be. FOMO is like a symbiote alien. It is an unstoppable force. There is nothing you can do other than to completely to emigrate the country to avoid FOMO, right? I could be smoking weed with David Attenborough, laughing about a load of birds of paradise dancing. Look at this fucking crazy bird, you know. Look at this fucking crazy bird. I could be I could be in that experience. And if I got a little on my phone and saw on Instagram 2 of my mates having cans in a shed, I'd be like, FOMO, this is ruined now. Well, this fucking sucks. These birds are shit. They're drinking Pratsky in the shed. Why am I there? All FOMO does is just take away from the moment now, right? Is just take away. I just cannot. It is just a beast, right? All FOMO is not, it's never even I wish I was there. My FOMO now has gone toxic, and it has become not even I wish I was there. The FOMO accepts the logic that I've made a choice not to be there and to choose the thing that I'm doing, but the FOMO makes me think that the thing I'm doing, and not even that the other thing is great, but the thing that I'm doing is fucking shit. That's all FOMO does for me. It is like fucking venom. It is like a symbiote that just fucking covers me in black goo, and I'm now in the FOMO. And all the FOMO was all like speaking in that venom Welsh accent, being, what you're doing is shit. What you're doing is fucking shit. That's not Welsh, but you know what I mean. So I am at war with FOMO, and so I had to spend a week off Instagram. I had to spend a week off of the gram, right? Off of the gram. I had to spend a week off. I need to be at war with FOMO. For whatever reason, I could honestly be, you know, I could be skydiving with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then if I get a little thing on my Apple Watch being like, it's wine o'clock apparently in Frank's on Camden Street, right? The wine bar there. The 2 of my friends like, oh, cheers. I'm like, well, this is shit. Hey, Schwarzenegger, just fucking pull the thing now. This is fucking shit. I'm not at the wine bar. Speaking of which, I highly recommend Frank's on Camden Street. Fantastic wine bar and phenomenal people. While I'm on the topic of talking about businesses, did I mention where I'm recording this from? Live from the podcast studios here on Pier Street. Are you a small, medium, or large-sized van? Then you need to do a podcast here. Let me tell you, I was in here on last Thursday, right, recording my Patreon podcast that went on Friday. It was a review of Batman 1989, if you want to check it out. And who was downstairs other than on Taoiseach? Micheál Martin, being in my peer, fellow public figure, Micheál Martin, being interviewed by my peer, writer and presenter Stephanie Preisner. They were downstairs. And also downstairs bumped into PJ Gallagher doing his Dublin podcast. Suzanne Kane was there as well. I didn't say hello. These are just my peers, the sort of people that are in this studio, a studio of peers like me, equals like me, like Micheál Martin. And so this place is a fucking who's who. They've got green screens, they've got live streaming capabilities. They were recording video for Micheál Martin's interview. Well, I don't know if that's for me to say. It's probably Stephanie Preisner to say, but whatever. I saw it. Secret Service were in there. It looked like they were doing fuck all. I was in there getting a coffee. They didn't shake me down. They didn't shake me off. They didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I went there getting a coffee. You know, I could have been like, "Here, no, I'm not gonna say. I wasn't gonna do anything." But they didn't seem very thorough. Is all I'll say. I'm not having a go. So I'm at war with FOMO, right? I'm at war with FOMO. It's not even FOMO. Do you know what it is? It's not even FOMO. It is just, and this is obvious. I mean, it's the most mundane conversation you can have about social media, about how it makes you feel insecure. But it is just that. It is just seeing something else that makes you feel the present is shit. I need to just start taking mental pictures that I don't need to put anywhere, of my son touching sand for the first time with his feet. You know, him petting a cat, you know, and just keeping that there and knowing that not only is that good enough, that is it. That is the best thing, you know, getting the fucking dinner, looking at the delicious dinner. Walking into the studio here, seeing the microphones, remembering the fact that it is my job to come on here and chat shite, knowing that and remembering that. The dream situation I could ever have, which is that I'm a professional comedian, a dream I've always wanted. I get to chat shit about Batman for 2 hours and get paid for it. I've got a beautiful wife who is a perfect person. I have a baby. I have a loving, healthy family. I have it all. I have it all. I don't need an. I don't want fran. So how can I still wake up some morning and think with a sigh when everything, it is just purely perspective. It is getting that dart past Sandy Cove and Glassstool and making sure that you're looking out at the sea and not staring at the fucking rocks and thinking, well, this is shit. You could easily be going down that dart line and you could miss one of the most fantastic views in Dublin. Cheapest fantastic views if you're just staring at the rocks. Just be staring out at the sea. Staring at what's right in front of you. So fuck your FOMO. I'm not having it anymore. I'm not having the insecurity. And I do love the fact that social media is a fantastic way of documenting all the lovely things, but I hope that you're also enjoying it. Who am I fucking preaching? Who the fuck's this guy? So I was down in Britus, a week off the Soch. I was reading, trying to read. I can't fucking read. I just can't read, okay? I can't read. And I'm not talking about being dumb. I'm not talking about being on a call with Vodafone and they say, look, can we continue this email? Can we consider this conversation via email? And you pull out the fucking trump card of all trump cards on a call line. I can't read. You're going to have to keep talking to me, right? I don't play games and think, oh God, how much longer is there left to this game? I don't keep checking online to see how much longer is there left in this game. I don't check the page number of the game. Do you know what I mean? I'm not desperately trying to do it so I can tell someone that I did it. Like, I play games and I don't tell people that I play the game. That's the proof of enjoyment there. I'm not doing it to fucking present status. Do you know what I mean? And there's people who love, like, my wife reads books. She loves the books. She lives in the books. She laughs at the prose. I read them and I'm like, can't wait this. I'm trying to read The Tommyknockers by Stephen King, right? Because I thought, you know what? I might get a bit scared. I'm terrified of aliens. I'm genuinely scared of aliens. Of being abducted by an alien, right? Especially if they're looking for public figures, peers on a level of Micheál Martin, like myself. They might come looking directly for me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm terrified of alien abductions, So I'm trying to read The Tommyknockers, Stephen King book. I mean, I'm such a fucking phony. Like, obviously, I respect Stephen King. I like Misery. I love Misery, right? The film. Love The Shawshank Redemption. I love what it is, even though I don't know what the best version of it is. Probably the book. I really enjoyed the first It, the remake. I remember seeing the TV thing ages ago. I love Tim Curry, everything he does. Didn't so much enjoy It Part 2. I thought, this film should really be able to stand up on its own. You shouldn't have to keep cutting back to the kids, right? That means that this film is not as well thought out, even though you actually have the source material. Maybe it's the original Cary Fukunaga, whatever your man's name is, script that wasn't there for It Part 2. But I thought the adults was just, this is so boring, and you have to keep going back to the kids because you're just not able to pull it off, And also, that they're not going to die, that it's nightmares, and then it's like this fucking, it's like a dog with a stick, By the third time it shows up as a giant statue who's about to eat them. Like, it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to look. I'm not going to, I know you're still holding the fucking stick. He's not going to be, So I like Stephen King, and obviously I love the Stephen King revival of, like, Stranger Things, and love The Shining as well. I know he wasn't a huge fan of that. So I decided I was going to read The Tommyknockers because I love aliens, even though I'm terrified of them. I'm terrified of aliens, as you know, famously. My dad showed me that film, Fire in the Sky, and I had nightmares for weeks. He was like, you like the X-Files. Why don't we watch Fire in the Sky? And I'm like, okay. I remember even, like, recording it. I was terrified of the ad. And we watched this thing. I had nightmares. I had nightmares about aliens wearing really big T-shirts. Just really, those kind of, like, just long, like, muscle fit tees, but like too long. And I was terrified of these aliens. So I thought, Tommyknockers, I don't know anything about it. I'm hoping that it's all creepy alien abduction that I can get really scared about, because that scares me. I hope it's not kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers type aliens. I don't like that kind of narrative. I don't like when people aren't themselves. You know what I mean? When Loki is pretending to be someone else, and like he's being mean. He's pretending to be Captain America and he's being mean to the rest of the Avengers. I don't even think that's been a plot, but you know what I mean? I don't like when it's like an episode of Buffy where Xander's been taken over by like a force and he's being really rude to Willow. Do you know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like Superman 3 when he turns into bad Superman. I don't like when people don't know that this person, or when Angel loses his soul in Buffy as well. I don't like that. I don't like people not knowing that's the real person, or not the real person. But something I have found has helped me read is reading out loud. Reading out loud to Terry. Sometimes she lets me read. When we were living in different countries, I used to read her Dan Brown books to put her to sleep on Skype. You know, I like the Da Vinci Code. I loved the Da Vinci Code. Forget about the film, right? I'm a dumb man, doesn't read books. I love the Da Vinci Code. I think the Da Vinci Code is fucking brilliant. I couldn't stop I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. Ulysses is shit. The Da Vinci Code is class. There you are. There you are. Come on. Come at me. Come at me. I don't have the attention span for that, so that means it's not for me. But that isn't even it. If I'm without judging myself, without even judging myself here, right? Without judging myself, because I can make excuses for the fact that I can't read Ulysses by putting myself down, which is like, I don't have the attention span. I don't get it. I'm dumb, right? I would have to accept all those things if I were to be critically objective about why I do not like Ulysses, okay? And I have to, because I respect it. But at the end of the day, for who I am now as a person, the Da Vinci Code's a better book for me, because I can read it, and I loved it, and I loved all the weird mysteries of it all. And I loved how easy it was to read, right? I love the Da Vinci Code, and it's a better book than Ulysses. So I have to accept that. Look, I'm going to do that. I'm not putting myself down. I'm not dumb. I am not dumb. I need to be talking to more people, and not you, the audience. I love you. I love the fact that you're wearing your your Karaoke King Kong's face mask, and you're probably speaking back to me right now. But I probably need to be speaking to more people and not just completely offloading, because I don't even know what I fucking stand for, right? I don't even know what I stand for. I don't even know what opinions I'm fucking, But something I found has helped me read a little bit more is reading out loud. And Terry loves me reading out loud. Well, not really. She's like, really, shut the fuck up. So I've been reading to the boy. Terry told me that by the age of 11, a child's vocabulary will be based entirely on all the words they heard up until the age of 3. So all the words that they've acquired and the context for them stays with them up until the age of 11. They might be able to grow vocabulary, but like the case being that, how literate they might be based on how many words or how many new concepts have gone into their little spongy brains by the age of 3. So I've been reading to him, So I've been reading the Tommyknockers, and tell you what, Stephen King is pretty preoccupied by periods. It seems like he's always talking about periods. The main character is all like, it was like a flow like Niagara, and it's like, there was a wet, sopping mess in her Levi's now after her period had. I was like, you need to fucking drop this fucking period shit, I was reading this out loud to the boy. I mean, it was part of it. Part of it was also the dog going mad, had a big laser eye. Loads of mad shit was happening. But she was like, Jesus, he really doesn't write women very well. Maybe he does in other books, but this woman was very preoccupied with her own period. Which is obviously terrifying to me as a man. I'm terrified of that. You need to get rid of the book. Don't be mentioning periods. They don't exist. Periods don't exist. Tampons don't exist. What do we do with tampons? Who knows? Let's not talk about it. Can you fucking believe in 2020 that ad got pulled? That Tampax ad. Can you believe that shit? Can you believe? So what? What is a tampon then? What is a tampon? What is a tampon? Like, what are people... And it's like laden with sexual innuendo. It gets pulled because it's demeaning to women who have been previously fucking educated about periods by walking in a fucking field. All right, so I get a tampon. What? Where's the lilac field that I walk through? This tampon has nothing to do with a lilac field, right? It's fucking laden with innuendo. Get it right up there, girls. Apparently 52% of women weren't putting tampons in correctly because they weren't educated how. So rather than talk about how you walk through a field and feel fresh because you got a tampon up your vagina, they say put it up properly and you'll feel even better. Put it up properly. Things go up vaginas. Things go in vaginas. This is not even Tony's blue adu dabu dee babada corner, right? Things go in vaginas. So when are people meant to discover that things, how are people meant to discover things go in vaginas? Is it through sex? Is it through porn that they watch? So how are they meant to discover things go in a vagina? Just because it goes in a vagina does not make it sexual. Can you not understand the hypocrisy of you viewing a vagina as a purely sexual object? Can you not get the hypocrisy of the fact that you find that offensive, meaning you only view a vagina as a sexual object? That the hypocrisy in that. Things go in a vagina. Things go in a vagina when it's being checked up. Things come out of a vagina. A baby. Things go up a vagina to stop the flow of a menstrual cycle. If you think a vagina, and similarly, actually, it's not the same at all. It is not even in the same league as the shame that women have to experience for having a vagina, right? But similarly, if you're getting a checkup, if you're a guy and you're getting the prostate exam, all right, and you're getting the finger up there, like, it's funny because butt is poop, but if you're viewing that like some kind of, you're losing some sort of masculinity by getting a finger up your arse. If you view your arsehole, you view your own arsehole as a purely sexual object that has somehow been, what is it? What conquered? It's been conquered? That you're now in a gay relationship with the doctor who put his finger up your arse to see if your prostate was big, or if you put some weird kind of outdated shame on someone else for doing that. That is entirely on you. Because it's an orifice. Unfortunately, the ear isn't big enough to fit a dick. But if it fucking was, it'd be like, are you really fucking going to allow an earbud in there? Are you really going to blow your nose? Don't you know you can fit a dick in there? What's wrong with you? You should be ashamed. We should be covering our noses. You should be wearing fucking headphones. Don't be showing me your ears. You could potentially put a dick in there. Which means don't ever show it to me. And don't ever talk about putting anything else in there. The hypocrisy of it all. It doesn't make any sense. It is so fucking dumb. It is as dumb as saying you can't read on a fucking customer support line to Vodafone. But yeah, what else? I wasn't expecting to talk about that. So we were there. We had a week. And it was great. I really enjoyed having a nice little break. Walking on the beach in Britas Bay. Going for a sea swim. And I tell you, if you haven't done it, I highly recommend just getting away for even just 2 days. And if it's even fucking a B&B that has somewhere and it's 50 quid for 2 nights and you could just a fucking field that you can walk around, I highly recommend just taking a bit of a break. Taking a bit of a break from everything, getting off the news, offline, because the internet was shite. We tried. The internet was shite. Walking on the beach. Having sea swims. And by day 2, you remember what it's like. If you haven't had a holiday or a break in a while, honestly, I highly recommend even just going off somewhere to the west of Ireland, find, a cheap enough B&B that's clean enough for your tastes, 50 quid for 2 nights if you can find one. There are very cheap B&Bs out there. Find somewhere that's just near a beach, find somewhere that's near a fucking field or a nice hill walk and just get out there. And honestly, by day 2, you'll realize, you remember what it's like to have not had a break in a while. You remember what it's like just to kind of, you still feel those kind of just, those links with all of your thoughts attached, because there's nothing you can do, right? If you have to, it's like all these obligations that, you have to do when you're in your home location, all the kind of, it's like getting away, you're being the hat guy. Go somewhere to a field and wear a fedora and be that person, right? Lose those links with your past self. And just remember what it is, just to fucking breathe it in. We watched a load of shit as well. Watched a load of Bosch. I'm into Bosch. TV show Bosch. It's on Amazon Prime. I like Bosch because right? because it is not this kind of like, you need to see this, like wait till you see this, like not everything, like I'm not gonna, like this is how spoiled I am, right? We watched that show Perry Mason, me and Terry, about that private investigator in the 1930s. It's real HBO. Like the first bit has like, you know, sex in the HBO kind of way. You know, like the first couple of minutes of Game of Thrones, you'll always see some girl riding some guy, and then it'll be like someone getting their, you know, throat slit, and like it'll show you the sex and the violence in almost like a cookie cutter way, so quick, like just to grab your attention. I can't, like that whole, I've been dispelled by that, right? I've been dispelled by that cookie cutter HBO kind of thing. It's an interesting thing, but I don't think it's any better than Bosch, which is just this pulpy Hollywood detective you know, procedural, you know. It's just like whatever. I actually don't want to. I don't want to be watching really good stuff anymore. I'm getting away from what I've always been chasing. Whatever the 5-star thing was, whatever the critics are saying, you know. And I just want to be. I want to be surprised. I want to be comfortably watching mediocre stuff, you know. I mean, Perry Mason's a good show, but it's very like, now here you are. You're watching another. Here's another flick. Here's another movie. You know. Here's another, you know, road to perdition. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's fucking lay it off. Like, you know, it's been fucking laying it on a bit fucking thick. Do you know what I mean? Just chill the fuck out here. Everyone doesn't need to be a fucking spectacle. You can just be fucking getting on with it. Watch that. I highly recommend 2 flicks that we watched, right? One is Honey Boy, Shia LaBeouf, autobiographical story where he plays his own abusive father. And it's really fucking good. As you know, a lot of people were raised on Shia LaBeouf. Maybe people who are younger might be listening to this would have watched Even Stevens. I was a bit too old for it, but even though it was a kid's show, I watched it as a teenager because Shia LaBeouf was fucking hilarious in it. Holes, which is a classic, again, a bit past my age group, but I watched it because he's brilliant in it, and it's a really good flick. But it's really really good. FKA Twigs is in it as well. Shia LaBeouf plays his own father. And I highly recommend it. I give it 5 stars. I'm not giving you a full breakdown of it. I enjoyed it. It's a really good flick. We also watched Palm Springs, Andy Samberg rom-com, another 5-star flick. I didn't know anything about this flick coming into it, but I highly recommend it if you can find it online. I won't spoil. It's kind of a time travel concept, but it's really, really funny and probably one of the better comedies I've seen in the last 2 years. Also, watched Honey Boy, right? And then went down and I'm not having a go, but I went down an Irish Times review hole, right? And I was looking at this film was given 3.5 stars, 3 out of 5 stars, right? It's a 5-star flick, right? It's a 5-star flick, right? And I went down a rabbit hole of looking at all the Irish Times reviews. I like the Irish Times. I like the publication. I buy the Weekend every weekend, okay? But if you're gonna have reviewers, okay, give every single Avengers flick like 1 star, then maybe you need to just, you know, maybe you don't get it. Maybe you don't get it. Do you know what I mean? If every film is superhero films and you're still reviewing superhero films, then maybe get someone who likes superhero films to review them against other superhero films. This is not fucking, you know, Age of Ultron, or this is not fucking Infinity War versus Yojimbo. Do you know what I mean? Well, it's no Taxi Driver, which you can still hold films up to that regard. But the fact that there's fucking 20 of these flicks out, and you're like, yeah, still shit, you know. Anyway, look, I've been a bit of a fucking spoil sport here, a bit of a sour puss, meow. So I'm going to move on, right? I'm not having a go. All I'm saying is, critics, if you're a critic and you didn't like it, don't see it again, right? If you're a critic and you didn't like it, don't see it again. And I'm done with that. I just want to be surprised. I want to watch mediocre shit, and I want to make my own mind up about it. I find I can have more opinion about something that's a 3 or a 4 star than a kind of 5 star. You know, it's always just like I watch it, like it's a piece, and then you just come away from it being like, yes, it was great. You know, there's no fucking contention in it. Anyway, sure. Speaking of phenomenal 5-star pieces, we have here the final of this series. There will be more, and I'm glad this is the end of the Young Scientist part. But this is the end of the Young Scientist Chronicles of Boner in the WB's TV comedy drama, The Fridget.
Whoa, man. I can't believe it's the last day of the Young Scientist competition. Man, I've scored the absolute whole off so many birds, my tongue's worn down to a fucking nub.
Oh, fuckler, you crazy broken slut.
Boner, don't you think you should go to the RDS nurse? Get that bite looked at? You got mauled pretty bad by that giant otter. And I don't think it's normal how quick you've grown that thick, whiskery mustache. Go to the RDS nurse. Are you silly? I've never felt better, man. Plus, it's the last day of the young scientist and my last chance with Buffy. Plus, I really think our project on the industrialization of spider silk could really win. I reworked the weave last night. I don't know, something just came to me and... Hey, you smell that? What's up with your voice, bro? Little early to be drinking, huh, Gascoigne? Boner? How'd you know it was me? Are you kidding? You can smell the fat frog a mile away. Okay, man, cool trick. Listen, bro, you better stay away from me and Buffy. You better... What do you... Or how about I smash your skull in and eat your brains off my belly? Boner, bro, like fucking hell, man. You're crazy, man. Let's get fucking out of here, man. I guess he ought to know better now. Anyway, fucker, look, I think they're about to announce the winner, quick.
As your president, I have to say, I'm so impressed with the lot of you. You've come together and you've for science. I was saying to my dogs, you have to be adults. They have to be adults, these kids. Because I can't believe some of this stuff. There was a fella had a phone charger and he was lighting it off the sun. There's another fella, he put a kind of fizzy water in with a paracetamol or something, and it fizzled up like Vesuvius. As you know, I love my history, and I love art as well, as you know, famously. But there are two boys that stand heads and shoulders above the rest. In fact, they definitely stand heads and shoulders above me, because I'm so small, famously. Those two boys have come together with a project on the industrialization of spider silk, so that if we can harness that energy, we can make our bridges strong as fuck. We'd like to announce the winner of the Young Scientist competition, even though I really think it's an adult competition. They're lying to me. Boner and Fuckler from Art School Riche in Marino.
We did it! We did it, Boner! Come on, get up there!
Okay. Oh. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, President Higgins. But I can't accept this award. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die if I don't tell the truth, okay? And the truth is, I cheated. I cheated fate. I cheated fate when I survived an otter attack. And it's given me a new perspective on life. A perspective to be honest. So that's what I'm gonna do. President Higgins, the reality is, my project is stolen. And by project, I mean heart. By the most amazing, incredible, did I say amazing, girl I've ever met. This award is for science, but what is science? But a better understanding of the natural and physical world. Well, if that's the case, then the best scientist here, the one who's taught me more in the last 2 days than any quackpot in Geneva, it's you, Buffy.
What?
It's always been you. So sure, I could take this award, put it on my curriculum vitae. What'll that get me, a job? I have a job. It's to worship you, the ground you walk on. So if it's okay, President Higgins,
You've always had my blessing.
I'd like to name this year's Young Scientist Buffy Duffy.
Wow, Boner, thank you.
Come on up.
Okay.
The floor is yours, Buffy. Tell everyone here about your project. You just won the Young Scientist Award. Okay. So my project is about differences in IQ across different racial groups.
That's a shame. That's a real shame.
Oh, Boner, will he ever learn? And that's the podcast. Thank you very much for listening. I am practicing gratitude at you for listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for this. And if you would like to support me on this podcast, you can do so over on the Patreon. Just look up Tony Cantwell Patreon and you can find my other podcast, The Bonus Cantwell Shit Show, which is a weekly podcast I do every single week, as well as a monthly film podcast called Movie Bake, where I give my full patented 5-star longer form reviews, not like fucking Honey Boy shit I just did on that, as well as other things, my history of being a rocker and my top 5 emo songs, a full breakdown of the Star Wars prequels, the extra Eurovision podcast that you didn't listen to, a history of retro PS1 games and how 1998 was the greatest year in video game history. You also have a Fatal Deviation review. You've got a new concept called Wheel of Shite, where I spin a wheel, get a word, and riff on it. It's been great crack. And you can follow me and support that for the equivalent of £1 a month over on the Patreon. It'd be great to have you over there. But if not, I will see you here on next Tuesday. And if you're over on the Patreon, I'll see you on Friday for a full breakdown and conversation on The Last of Us 2. That's what's coming up there. Thank you very much. I love you to bits.
It's only get real shit show.